My name is Jenna Kim, and I am co-president along with Anthony Wong for the Advocacy for Asian Americans Club at Piedmont High School.
Hi, my name is Sage Mosley, and I'm a part of our Black Student Union at Piedmont High School. Our two clubs have decided to partner up and create a mentorship program for the students of color at Havens Elementary School, in which they will learn about and explore their racial identities. We each felt like this was something that was missing in our elementary school experience.
This program would take the form of a weekly lunch or after-school event. We hope you can gain your support throughout this whole process. Here are our stories behind why we want to start this program together.
Hi, I'm Anthony Wong. I'm the other president of the Advocacy for Asian Americans Club at Piedmont High, and I'm going to be a senior this fall. So one of the main reasons why I want to help start and lead a mentorship program for the kids of color at Havens is that I want to help kids bridge the gap between their own family's cultures at home and the culture at school. Kids need to feel safe and included and understood, which is why a program like ours is really nothing but a benefit to these kids of color. It shows them that there are older kids of color that look just like them and have gone through the same experiences they have in school, and it gives them support. Earlier this year, I was lucky enough to be able to speak at the Havens School Assembly about Chinese New Year and Lunar New Year. And as I was sort of doing this presentation about my own family's cultural traditions and Chinese culture during Chinese New Year in general, I saw that a lot of the ethnically Chinese and Asian kids had this sort of excitement on their faces. And it was because they were seeing an older kid understand their culture and explain it to others for the first time. And it was after that presentation in school assembly that we had that conversation about starting a mentorship program. Because it's important to know that even at a young elementary school age level, kids notice race and they notice ethnicity. They notice the differences between them and their peers, both culturally and physically, but they're really not sure of how to deal with those differences quite yet. And that's what this program aims to do. We aim to provide support for these kids.
As part of the Piedmont Unified School District from the start of a young age, I've always been one of the few Black girls in my grade. If I can describe my experience here in one word, I choose isolation. Whenever a teacher brings up something about Black history, which is rare, it can be hard to sit in a room knowing there's no one else that's like you. Or when topics on race come up, you'll be the only one to speak up for your background. Having another person that shares the same ethnic experience as you is valuable. With your students, we will be able to provide a safer environment for all students of color. We are bringing a diverse community together.
My name is August Bigpen, and I'm a member of the Black Student Union. I've gone to predominantly white schools my entire life, but when I moved here from Chicago, I was not prepared for the culture shock of a neighborhood and a school which are nearly 70% white. However, the biggest culture shock came when I realized there was no Black student union. There was a Latino student union, a diversity club, and a Jewish student union, but there was nothing for the Black students. At such a non-diverse school, I expected the Black community to be very tight-knit, but there was nothing to connect us. I constantly felt under pressure to be the voice of the Black community and single-handedly start a Black student union, but I felt like I was the only one who cared. I wondered, would my white friends judge me? Later, this January, when the Diversity Committee helped us get a BSU, it was insane to walk into the first meeting and see a room full of Black students, a lot of whom I had never even seen before. Though I was relieved the Diversity Committee stepped in, I wish the students had felt empowered enough to start one. The culture of predominantly white schools creates a space where Black students can feel unwelcome, and not having a group for us makes us feel more distance from the community.
As a new second grader at Havens Elementary School, it became evident to me very quickly that I was different from most kids. From the food that I ate to the way that I looked, these were all things that were completely new to the kids at my school. Looking back at all the racist comments and incidents at Havens, I realized that the kids who said them never had malicious intent, but were just ignorant and naive. Piedmont lives inside this bubble, and I hope with this program we can normalize the introduction of different cultures and races and better prepare the future generation for the bigger world. I moved to America in second grade after living in Korea for 3 years. In 3rd grade, a boy in my class, a white boy who I barely knew, came up to me and made a joke about my eyes. It was the one in which Chinese, Japanese, and Koreans' eyes were mimicked by pulling one's eyes backwards in different directions. He told me this joke in full confidence that I would find the joke funny. This may have been the first time that someone had made a comment about my eyes, but it definitely wasn't the last. These are examples of racism that doesn't necessarily come from a place of hate, but from a place of ignorance. Growing up in a predominantly white community, it's easy to make fun of or question the things that are different. How could that boy know that the majority of the world had eyes just like mine? How could he know the isolating effect of that comment? How could he understand the years and years of oppression that has manifested itself through that comment?
I am Harmony Ross, one of the BSU leaders. One of the many benefits of this program for Haven students is seeing high school students of color in authority. This gives them the opportunity to not only see who they can become, but that people of color can be educated, well-spoken, and so much more. Since there's a lack of teaching staff of color, we can help fill that need and help guide our younger peers during their journeys. One of my teachers in 3rd grade told my mother, my hair was too pretty not to be combed all the time. What the teacher didn't understand was the amount of pain that I go through being tender-headed, meaning my scalp is super sensitive, and taking care of my hair isn't simple. If my mom wanted to give my head a break and let me run around wild, that's perfectly fine, because all the other white moms could allow their daughter that privilege.
Hi everyone, I'm Anjali Turner and I'm a BSU member. I would like to provide my elementary peers with a place to talk about experiences they may have in school that leave them feeling confused or uneasy. For example, during middle school, we were learning about the Civil War, and there was an incident in a war scene where horses were being shot at and died. But luckily, our teacher informed us that this would be happening moments before the scene and even before the movie started. A few weeks later, we were watching a film where a slave got his fingers cut off because he was caught teaching a younger slave how to read and write. Unlike the war scene, there was no pause, there was no warning, and there was a lack of awareness. I remember sitting in the corner of the classroom, completely bawling my eyes out, having to deal with multiple white students looking at the only black student in the room, and then having to quickly readjust to start on my classwork after the movie ended. There was a lack of sensitivity shown from the teacher when harm was done to another human being. But when a horse was shot at, it seemed like the world stopped for this poor animal. No one knew what to do. The students looked to me as if I were to set the example because I am black, and maybe in their minds I know exactly what my ancestors went through, but I looked to the teacher for sympathy, and the teacher is not a bad person. But what I would have liked to see was a discussion after the movie or a warning before it was shown. I would have absolutely benefited from having this mentor program because I didn't feel like I had anywhere to go or anyone to talk to. None of my classmates knew what I was going through, but it also felt like they were unaware of why I was upset or even maybe what happened. This program allows students to have a place where they can feel comfortable sharing moments like these.
The Havens Mentorship Program is going to allow younger students of color to recognize that they are wonderfully different through mentorship with some high school students. The high school students wanted to reach out and make sure that the Haven students of color feel comfortable and valued in ways that some of us didn't experience. Haven students will have the opportunity to have conversations about race, culture, and everything in between. But most importantly, they will know that we see them and we want to spend our time and energy towards making their experience better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and we hope that we have your support for this program.